Today we're going to be talking about 6 different ways that you can generate income before this whole entire AI takeover. Guys, yesterday I posted a video talking right here in the very first video here, talking about how the AI is coming. You know, AI is coming in all kinds of different ways. This whole YouTube channel is about generating passive income, and we've done phenomenal with that. You know, AI hasn't gotten in the way of things. But I could see definitely the way things are changing, and if you didn't see that last video, the way things are changing, you should go check it out. But the way things are changing now is pretty rapid, and people will lose their jobs. Maybe not everybody, and it won't happen very quickly, but in the grand scheme of things, it will happen quickly. You know, it's not like people are just going to wake up and then all of their jobs are going to be canceled one day. I know I had a comment on that, but the reality is that, you know, every few months, you're going to have different AIs that emerge, and within the implementation of those different kinds of AIs that are pretty narrow, it's going to replace people's occupations. The perfect example of that is everything that we've been doing in the stock photography world, which I've been showing people how to utilize AI to generate income, passive income from this very business. And, you know, people take it to different levels depending on how much income that they want to earn. And I think the response from that video that I posted yesterday seemed like people were agreeing. You know, it seemed like overall people had the same sentiment. Just because it seems distant, it may not be something on the forefront of people's minds, but it is actually a very serious situation. And I'm telling you this now, a lot of people might not necessarily feel the grunt of it now. They might not have these issues right now where they're looking for a job, or they might have a problem, you know, because their company's going to downsize in employees because they simply just don't need anymore or don't need as much. But the reality is this is absolutely coming. You know, in the first base of jobs, you're talking about jobs like customer service agents. You're talking about freelancing opportunities for people. You're talking about people who work as bartenders, even servers, jobs in the food markets, hospitality industry. All these kinds of jobs are going to be the first ones to go, and they're going to be very quickly. So if you're currently working on your passive income, you're working on your financial freedom journey, you want to be financially free eventually, this video is going to be something that you need to take very serious action on. And more importantly, realize that this is something that is coming, and really, your life could change upside down in a matter of months. You know, it literally, if you just look back 20 months from now, or 20 months ago, the world was completely different. Nobody really had fear of AI. AI wasn't something that people talked about each and every day. But today, people are not only utilizing AI, but like I said, it's developing very, very quickly. Even Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, hey, by the end of 2025, we're going to use AI on our own platform to update our own platform, and we're not going to have as many employees. That's scary. These are people who are getting paid $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year just to do some development and coding work, you know, and software engineering on the Facebook platform, or Meta as they call it. But that's going to be the same for so many other companies. So with that being said, let's hop into a video here of 6 different ways that I've kind of devised that don't really need some sort of advanced college degree, don't really need some huge investment to jump into, things that can help you continue on your path to financial freedom. Ideally, you would start these opportunities, these money-making opportunities, before AI completely ruins your life, so that you have something to fall back on. And I'm telling you, before things get better, things will get worse. I know somebody in my last video, shout out to whoever it was. Let me actually click on that video. Let me pause it because I don't want to hear the ad. But somebody here, and I'll comment back on all the videos on all the comments. But somebody said here, Lily Charlotte, shout out to her. She's actually a member of 2 months now. She says, let's not be so negative. My goal is not to be negative. Trust me. I don't want to be negative, but I definitely see a reality here where things go left for many people. You know, unfortunately, I know it says here, who will pay taxes if we all lose our jobs? This is my point, is you're not going to all lose jobs, you know, in one shot. It's not going to happen that way. It's going to be this slow, over a period of the next 4 years, 3 years, it's going to be this slow industry takeover, industry by industry, industry by industry, industry by industry, And it's not going to take that long. When I say slow, what I mean is really gradual. It's going to be this gradual turn as opposed to slow. It's really not going to be slow. I mean, anything 4 years from now, 5 years from now, most people are not going to be able to picture themselves without a job. But think about it. Look at Tesla and that robot that they're making. That is literally, you pay like $30,000 and it comes in, it carries stuff for you, it drives your car, it does all kinds of crazy stuff. It's like a butler. That's insane. For you to interact with a robot like that and, be walking around your house and doing all kinds of stuff, that's mind-boggling. So anyways, we're going to get into these financial freedom strategies, sources of income that you can work on. And like I said yesterday, every penny counts, every dollar counts. You want to try to make as much money as possible. And this is pretty much aside from everything we've been talking about on this YouTube channel. Aside from, the print on demand, aside from the stock photography. I just moved my mic a little because when I said print on demand, you guys probably heard that bubble, that burst of sound. But anyways, let's get into it, all right? So here we have a picture of a robot. I just figured I'd throw this in just to give you a visual, but let's jump into number one. Number one is creating a niche e-com store. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to talk about how you can actually make these things work in a landscape where AI is something that's pretty dominant. First thing is you have to realize that every single business needs some sort of key, okay? And what I mean by that is there's certain what we call competitive advantages that business owners have. Sometimes the competitive advantage could be a story. Sometimes it could be a need, and sometimes it could be timing. Let me explain. Let's use the Silly Bands, for example. If you guys are familiar, years ago, we're talking about over 10 years ago, there was a product called Silly Bands. And they were basically rubber bands that look like animals, right? When you take out the rubber band and you put it on a desk, it will basically form into the shape of an animal. Some were in the shape of stars, some in the shape of hearts, some in the shape of dolphins, dogs, you name it. And they came in all different colors. That's an example of a product where story and timing came completely together, and it became a craze. It became a fad. Very similar to the hoverboard concept. If you guys are familiar, at one point in time, maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago, these hoverboards became a craze, an absolute craze, a huge trend, and dare I even say more of a fad, not really a trend, because it kind of died off. People still use them, but it became something insane, and hoverboards were selling $500, $300. In fact, I have a friend that I personally know who knew someone, so I don't know this individual, but he knew someone who bought this trailer, like a whole shipping container, spent his life savings on these hoverboards. And he bought them all from China, and by the time they came here, he couldn't figure out how to sell them. So he didn't have that marketing skill, he didn't know what he was doing, but he spent his life savings on these hoverboards, and it was a big mistake for him. The point is that if you can create a niche store, and when I say a niche store, I really mean niche. I don't mean something generalized and just sell anything. Find a very, very specific need that you can tap into. Create a story around that product. A good example of this is I have a friend who sold these charcoal face masks and charcoal toothpaste, right? He was selling all this charcoal-related products, and this was about maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and he made a killing, and he actually documented some of it on YouTube. He's not on YouTube anymore. The point is that this individual made hundreds of thousands of dollars tapping into a current fad or trend at the time. And it blew up. It went crazy. And it worked out for him. But there was a need in the market. He found that very specific niche, found that very specific need, created a story around it, how charcoal can help you. It's good for your health. It helps whiten your teeth, this and that, all kinds of stuff like that. And perfect timing, and it just came all together. So that is kind of some advice around building a niche store. You'll see a lot of advice on YouTube of like people building these general stores, running ads to them, seeing what pops or what works. And the reality is, honestly, now at this point, you don't even have to run ads. You have things like TikTok, which God only knows what's going to happen to TikTok here in the future. Supposedly it's going to be sold or banned, or God only knows what's going on. But you have different opportunities that you can make organic forms of marketing. You can create a blog, and I've talked about this, and I'll talk about this again later into this video, but blogging has been, me personally, one of my main, if not my main, actually my main income source. I don't know why I said one of my main, but it is my main thing. It's the most important thing to me for the past 7 years, 8 years. And basically, it's me writing articles around specific concepts. And once again, I'll talk about this in a few minutes because it is one of the things on our list here. But writing articles and selling to specific audiences around certain topics. And hey, look at what we have on our page here. The next thing is creating a niche blog. So let me kind of talk about this. I've talked about this before. I actually tried to create a YouTube channel around this and creating content around this, which is teaching people how to create a niche blog. I don't want to say I've abandoned that channel, but I'm going to create more content about it here instead. But really what this comes down to is you have a concept or a niche or a topic that other people are interested in, but they don't have that many resources on the internet about it. And I will give real life examples. But essentially, like I said, this is what I have currently done. And for like the roughly, and I want to say from 7 to 8 years. Now, I am currently in the process of about selling all of my websites, or very close to all of my websites. I'm almost done selling them. I've been selling them since probably late October of last year, and I'm almost done. I had over 70 plus websites, and like I said, this had been a collection that I was working on for over 7 plus years. I had virtual assistants on them. I was using AI, all kinds of things. And the mistake where people go, of course, in the blogging niche where they write articles is they let only AI take care of it, like meaning they only let AI write articles, which is a mistake long term, doesn't actually help you rank that much, and it creates real issues. But the point is I'm writing these articles with the help of AI, with the help of virtual assistants, all this stuff, and we get attention in a specific niche. And we don't create that many articles. It's like 30 to 90 articles per website. That's really not a lot. I mean, if you look at most blogging websites, it's really not a lot. There are people who brag online like, I created 1,000 articles in 30 minutes. Of course, they're using AI, but it really actually doesn't help you from an algorithmic standpoint, because you have to remember, AI is just a regurgitation of what's currently out there in the writing sphere. If you go to, like, for example, ChatGPT is not inventing its own knowledge. It's pulling it from somewhere. It's pulling it from a database. That database happens to be, the World Wide Web. So what people do is they use like writing apps, and they have their articles written for them. The only problem with that, like I said, is if it's fully AI, you're not really adding anything new. Algorithms pick up on that. You'll get a ton of impressions, but you won't get clicks, and so on and so forth. And you'll create thousands of articles, and you'll get nowhere. This is why people make mistakes in this world. But creating a niche blog, how do you do it? You find a topic that there are people who are hungry for this information, but there's really no one talking about it. So you become one of the first people to come out with information about it. And then when you do come out with information about it, you offer products on your website over time. Now, like I said, you're going to build from 30 to 90 articles. By the time you're finished with those articles, traffic is going to start coming in. And especially if it's niche, you don't need to have all the traffic in the world. You just need to kind of engulf your own little market, whether it be 500 views a day, 200 views a day, sometimes even 30 or 50 views a day. It still will suffice a business, because you're going to be, like I said, one of the only people offering products in this niche. And what you do is, like I said, you find a small underserved niche, and I thought I fixed this spelling here, but underserved niche. You're going to create articles for that niche, and then you're going to start selling products in that niche. What are examples of products? Digital products you can sell, physical products you can sell, service-based products you can sell, and membership-based products. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's use the Assyrian Christian niche. Assyrian Christian niche is a certain sect of Christianity, a certain type of Christianity, certain kind of orthodoxy, right? These are Assyrians. There's not many websites on these topics. If you go on, for example, Google and search Catholicism or being Catholic or something like that, there's probably like millions of websites around Catholicism. Millions, right? If not around 1 million, right? If not multiple millions. But there is tons of websites, okay, around Catholicism. But if you search being Assyrian, there's not too many. There's a few Reddit forums, Reddit posts, maybe a website here and there, maybe like 3 or 4, 5 websites around chants and things like that. But there's not many websites around the topic. You can be one of the primary forces in that niche and make money in that niche. Even if you didn't want to sell anything, you just turn on ads on the website and you'll still make money. So these are examples, guys, like I said, of something that is pretty niche. People are hungry for it. People want to know more about it, but there isn't enough resources out there. It's just simply not enough. If I go on YouTube and I search a cooking video, I could live the rest of my life watching cooking videos for the rest of my time, die, and still have more videos to watch, right? Because there's a plethora of content. It's harder to find people out there. But if you're posting content on stuff that's very specific, has very low competition, now all of a sudden you're going to start gaining some traction. So that's essentially how to make that happen. Like I said, I'm giving you these little tips for each of these kind of income sources, all right? And by the way, if you're still watching at this point, tell me what of these income sources are you interested in. The next thing is hobby/skill earning. Now let me explain this. There's every single person watching this has a skill or a hobby that probably doesn't revolve around what we do here. Okay, some of you guys might be great contractors. Some of you guys might be great plumbers. Some of you people watching maybe are really good at sewing. Some of you might be good at crochet. Some of you might be good at woodworking. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about some sort of skill or some sort of hobby you might have. 3D printing. I mean, the list goes on, right? Maybe you're good at shooting bow and arrow. I don't know. Fill in the blank, right? You can start either teaching people, right? Like have classes in real life to generate income, teaching people about this hobby. You can sell products based on the hobby, or you can utilize that skill for a service for an individual. Like for example, if you're really good at doing plumbing and somebody has a leak, right? And they can't necessarily afford a plumber, but you can come in there and scoop up the job and the service and be something relatively easy. You can go in there and do it. And you can make income, and you don't necessarily have to be working for somebody. I don't know if I wrote this down here, but I would recommend this much better than some of the other service-based opportunities. I think I actually mentioned it here. Let's see here. I guess, I mentioned labor-based jobs, but this is a better opportunity than the service-based, apps like Uber, Instacart, things like that. Why? Because Uber, Instacart, all these kind of businesses are going to be replaced by AI. I think there's like a company called Waymo or Wayo, or I don't really know what it's called. I think it's called Waymo. I'm not sure, but it actually affected Uber's stock price because when it kind of emerged and noted to the world that they're releasing or they're beginning launching in Miami, essentially it's going to be taxis without drivers. I mean, that's how serious this thing is getting. And this is already launching. Very serious. And there are different parts of the world where you can actually order a taxi right now or a cab or whatever you want to call it without a driver in it. There are different apps and different services all around the world that currently do this. Now, it's not plentiful. There's not many, of this stuff going on, but it does exist. So, my point is that try not to go the route where most people go, which is the Instacart, the Uber, because at that point, you're really not developing your skill. You're just kind of servicing the man. And once the man is done with you, or once the AI comes in, they have no reason to work with you. So pay attention to that, all right? Number 4, learn how to invest. So this is something that everybody should be doing at this point, is you're making money on print on demand. You're making money stock photography, the AI stock photography business that we've been talking about. And by the way, if you want to learn about that, I'll leave my link in the description. But we've been talking about this. You've been earning some sort of money. take that money and start investing in it. And what I mean by that is, I'm not talking about Shark Tank style investing, unless you want to do something like that. But things like stocks, things like crypto, things like ETFs, bonds, whatever. Figure out a way to put money into something, and then within the next day or the next week or the next month, you pull it out and it's increased. That is very useful. I really didn't pay attention to that up until maybe last year, 6 months into last year. And I actually realized how beneficial it is. You don't have to go out there and make a killing every single time in terms of making money, but you're making money without necessarily having to necessarily work for it. All you have to do is click a few buttons. Maybe you're invested in some sort of company or some sort of coin, and that money can potentially go up. Now, obviously, you have to be aware of what you're investing in. You have to, pay attention to all those kind of things. But that can help. That can be a definite help, especially when the AI comes along, right? And AI pretty much exists. You can do this right now. You could actually use trading bots to get involved into things like this. Now, don't get me wrong, it comes at a cost, but still, there are things that you can do to utilize AI, right, to be able to generate profits from these kind of things. And it's actually quite interesting. Obviously, don't invest in what you don't know about, so do some learning before you invest. But hey, that's, I think, pretty good advice overall. Number 5, create lifestyle videos. Now, this is something a little bit different. If you're the type of person that likes to be on camera, show your life, show your face, show your family, show your friends, things like that, this might work out for you. There is no shortage of people who want to watch content, and especially the personalized content. If you look at like different YouTubers who actually show their face and show their life and show their house and show their friends and show, their personal life, those people get tons of views relatively quickly. And all it takes is like some consistency. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, I'm not saying that. But hey, that's also another potential income. Now, I don't actually do this. You guys know I don't really do the, vlogging kind of style. Who knows? Maybe one day I will. But yeah, I mean, people love watching that kind of content, and it could generate a lot of income for you. So hopefully, if you guys are interested in that, try it out. And then lastly, this is what I set up here, start doing labor-based service. Maybe not for everybody this is good advice, but for some people, you got to think about in the future, top of the line money could be things like in the plumbing services and contracting services, any kind of business, any kind of, landscaping, construction-based business is really going to be in demand in the future. I feel like the younger generation now are really not good with working with their hands. Of course, I'm not talking about everybody, but the majority. Whereas opposed to, past generations, the majority was good with working with their hands. In today's world, like if you compare the type of person, the amount of people who know how to change oil on a car or fix a toilet or a leaky pipe or something like that, now, as compared to the past probably had many more people that knew how to do that. So if you can utilize your skill in that kind of way, or even start learning if you don't know, but start learning some sort of skill. It could be something as simple as power washing or, car detailing. It could be something as simple as landscaping, which is it takes a lot of effort, but it could be a source of income for you. And you don't necessarily have to have a boss or anything like that. You don't have to be at the whims of AI. I mean, at the end of the day, people are still going to have very specific problems that need to be solved, that need human-based thinking. And that's going to be, hey, I think an AI is going to replace a surgeon before it replaces a handyman. Honestly, I think so. Because to explain to the AI what exactly the problem is, I could see that to be relatively complicated. And I think it will be beneficial, and I certainly think that there's going to be less competition in that world. A lot of the young kids now want to be TikTokers and YouTubers and influencers and things like that. But if you take a different route and maybe get a trade or something like that, you could be quite remarkable with the amount of income that you generate. And, hopefully that helps you out. All right, guys? So obviously, all of these tips will help someone. Maybe 1 or 2 tips might help. But hey, the AI is coming. Make no mistake. once again, my goal is not to be negative. My goal is not to be, pessimistic, but really just as a warning, like, hey, we need to figure this out before the world kind of flips upside down. And everybody's world is going to flip upside down. It's just a matter of when. And the question is, by then, will we be ready? And, honestly, in the past years, I used to always tell people, generate as much income as you can, but I didn't have a reason why. I said save for a rainy day. I didn't have a reason why. But now that AI is very prevalent and I could very much see it happen, this is almost like an AI apocalypse. It's coming. It's absolutely coming. And there are people, like I said, who are going to lose their jobs. People who work in customer service, people who work in the hospitality industries, the restaurants, the hotels, people who work in, all kinds of industries, at least here in the West, first off, are going to be the first ones to lose their jobs. If you live in a third world country, the company that you work for might not be able to invest in an AI tool or something like that can handle those things immediately. But in the West, companies are much more well off and they have money to spend. It's definitely coming. So prepare yourself now, get ready, start working on something now, aside from what we're currently doing. You guys are listening. You guys know we talk about print on demand. We talk about stock photography, all these kind of things. These things are things you can work on now, because God only knows when the AI is coming and will replace those things and really will close off the market for you. But honestly, with businesses like that, I don't necessarily think there's going to be a robot that takes over. I think that there's going to be people who utilize AI to essentially make the competition extremely difficult, right? Which is essentially what we're doing in the stock photography world now. And we're making a killing with it. I mean, everybody who's in the stock photography course knows what I'm talking about. We utilize AI to pretty much do everything for us, and it's quite remarkable. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful, and I promised I would make this video. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to record today, but what did I say in my last videos? My two videos, like I said, I wanted to start getting back into YouTube. I want to start recording again. I want to start posting every day, and so here I am. All right, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you guys soon, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. All right, peace out, bye.